Welcome back to the show. Bag surgery. The Reynolds bags, Pro Edge Speed, ACL Comp, 21 to 22. This is one of their carpet bags, but I'm not going to say carpet for Reynolds because they really were the first to use that term. So it's their term. Carpet is their word. So we can say carpet without the sarcasm. Pretty neat bag. There's really nothing like super special to it. This fabric is not hard to find. It's a twill. This is hard to find. I have not found it, but I found something similar. And this is not the business end of the fabric, if you know what I mean. This is the back side of the fabric. This is the front side of the speed side. But you know it's a special bag because they gave it 3 names. Pro, Edge, Speed. I am Speed. I am Pro Edge. It kind of sounds like the name of a razor blade that you'd use on your face, like the Mach 5 Edge Speed Pro. Something like that. Simple design. Why go crazy? Like, it's easy to see on the board. It says Reynolds bags. Name of the bag. Well, you can play with it. Pretty simple. Why get super complicated? And they have done a good job of not getting too complicated and keeping their prices down. I'm glad that they don't charge $100 or more for 4 bags, because anything higher, like 3 figures for bags, get out of here. Come on. Some people are paying for these. I hear for the Cat 5 bags, like $300 to $400 used. No. So good on Reynolds for keeping it real, keeping it available to the everyday player. Looking at it somewhat close up, got real good stitching, good lines on that sublimation, simple brown color. They did really well to match the color here in the front and the back, because this is not sublimated. This is anything with a white, you know it's sublimated because they start with a white base. And I see no like holes or anything. I haven't used these bags much at all. I got them just for this HEPA review. This Teardown, this bag surgery. Closing stitch. This is another Reynolds original, the bar tack with the zigzag. They got a machine with a little clamp. This is a 2.5 inch tack. It goes down and comes back with a zigzag, and then back tacks itself. But they were one of the first to do that, if not the first. Pretty cool. It's kind of their signature, one of their signature things, aside from this carpet. Let's get into the fill. Already got one opened up. Pretty small hole. Not the smallest. The smallest one I've seen over here is from, it's one of the TCL bags. But this is just a hair bigger than what they're doing. 2 different kinds of fill. It's a mix, and it looks to be a 50-50. Could be wrong. Whoa! Okay, we lost some. We're not going to get an accurate weight. Just like the BG bags, Reynolds uses a laser to cut their fabric. Awesome. And they do the real deal double stitch. That's what I like. And there is the fill. Feels good. I think Reynolds bags kind of move around too easy in my hand. Maybe if they had more of this disc shape fill, it wouldn't do that. Give it a little more solid feel. We're going to get a close-up right now. Upon your first glance, what do you see? I see more gray than I do white. So this is predominantly these little gray beads, which is plastic, and these little white ones are resin. Same fill I use in my bags, these little white ones, just like the Ultra. This is a 2 bead fill, while the Ultra was a 3, and BG was probably like I want to say a 4, but some of them were different colors, so it's more like a 2, because they had little white round ones. And this just has the semi-flat pancakey with the circular and square cut pellets. So really nothing too special. But let's cut over to a different Reynolds fill from a different bag that I cut open a while ago. Only showing this because we're on the topic of Reynolds. This fill I pulled out of a Pro Advantage bag, at least a year ago. I bought a set for myself, and yeah, I like the bag, but I didn't like the fill. And this is why. It is all these little round beads. I could not hold the dang thing. Every time I threw it, they'd shift around. And this is in a plastic bag. I'm not taking them out. But you can see little plastic beads. So they have either changed their fill for these bags, the Pro Edge Speed, or they just use a whole different fill entirely. I tend to think they changed their fill. I'm not going to buy another set of bags just to see, but all roundies in that one. Alright, taking a look at the stitches of this bag. Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. You see the double stitch, and they are exactly or nearly exactly the same. This is done by a pattern machine as well. And the clamp comes down just like the Ultra, just like the BG. Like the BG, this is doing 2 stitches, but finally they're separated by about 1/8 of an inch. Remember, BG just had them right on top of each other, and Ultra went with the thinner, like 40 size thread and did 1 stitch. So this is what I would say is industry standard for durability. Even if this were to fray up to here, it'd stop. Even if it frayed past that, it'd stop again. So you get good durability. This was the backside when they sewed it, because you can tell by all these tails. And it looks like they were off a little bit when they put this specific one in the template. I'd like to know what happened up here, because this is laser cut. Both sides are laser cut. Why is this frayed versus any of the other ones? So you can see right here where the opening is meant to be, but it's off just a little bit. You can tell here, you can tell here, and it's just off a little bit. Should be here and here. What we're looking at right here is the top right of the bag. You can see it starts, I'm going to assume it starts on this inside line. We got a 1, 2, 3, or 4 back tack. Up, it'll go around all the way to right here where it's coming up. Back tack, not totally necessary because of what they're going to do right here. They're going to shift to the outside line. This is all in one run stitch pattern, and then continue on through the rest of the program. And like every other bag before it so far, the tension is not set correctly. See the little bumps? Tension not set correctly. But yeah, they're coming up, going back, going up. That's 1 stitch right there. Back again, and around we go. Stitches themselves are, I mean, they're good. This is a bigger thread than Ultra, probably the same size as BG. Hard to tell what it's made out of. Might be nylon, might be polyester. Feels like polyester in my hand, my fingers. Let's take a look at the back side. And this little rat's nest is where it started. Starts here, goes down all the way around to here, where it's doing that back tack, jumping over and doing the outside stitch. And while we're here, let's take a look at this fabric. This is the infamous carpet fabric, the OG. It feels like, well, it feels like fake wool is what I first thought when I picked up a Reynolds bag. This feels like fake wool. So I started looking into it, and it's made of the same kind of stuff that fake wool is made out of. Because it performed like wool when it came to water, like not getting wet. It stayed dry in my damp evening play sessions. Just really cool stuff. And here you can see the melted edge where the laser cutter cut the shape. Same with this other side. Slightly melted, but it is melted. I'm going to throw up this other piece of fabric. It's not the same color, but you tell me what you think. Now this I know is not the fabric. This one right here, not the same. I mean, just look at the different sizes in the weave. But it's pretty close. Not the same, but close. And as I was saying earlier, this, come on, stay focused. This part of the fabric is what's inside the bag. That is the show side. That's what you would use if you were making a pillow or whatever, reupholstering your outdoor furniture. This is what would show. What they did was use the inside of the fabric with the backing on it as the outer part, which is pretty cool. Gives it a little more grip. I think that's what makes it so special. Although I bet this side would perform the same. And here we're looking at the slide side. This is a twill fabric. If you look at it up close, which is what we're doing, see the down, up, over, up, over, up, over, up. That is called a twill weave. It's a pretty small weave, smaller than the other stuff I use. This one on the bottom, this is the twill that I use. It's got bigger, just about maybe twice as big. Same thing, ish. But I know where to get this stuff. This is from one of the major providers of fabric. The slow side of those widow bees makes this fabric as well. Let's see what it weighs. I'm going to guess 15.2, 15.3. We're teared to the cup, and we will gently pour. I cleaned up as much as I could that flung out at me. A lot of little gray pellets, predominantly gray pellets. 15.2, all right. And this is definitely lower on this 20-ounce fill line, the liquid, than the Ultra. $15.9. Oop, I found a pellet. Let's see what the other bags weigh. $15.9. $15.9. $15.9. Perfect. I would say that they are using a bag filling machine. Based on how these feel, I would say that they are. How hard is it to flip these? Not hard. This is, well, it's not the biggest opening of all time. It's kind of small. It was harder to flip it with the beads in it. But that's not bad at all. Took about 3 pushes. Yeah, not bad at all. Bag is closed. This is my little closing stitch on the right, and there's on the left. I don't have the machine that will do this. It is a very specialized machine. I do have a zigzag machine, but it will not do that short of a stitch length to replicate it. Plus, it's not really worth trying to replicate if you don't have the actual machine. A lot of people do that. They'll do a line and a zigzag on top of that line with a normal home machine, but it's just trying to do what it's trying to. It just doesn't work. You're not going to replicate this by hand. This is done by a regular machine. Whatever, straight stitch, good enough. Let's take a close look at this. This closing stitch is one of Reynolds' signature type of dealios. Start it here, it ends here. It starts with a straight stitch going underneath, all the way across, 2.5 inches, and then turns into a zigzag stitch. Covers up the initial tack, and then back tacks a few stitches. This is with a bar tacking machine. Pretty cool. And you need, like, their opening was, you know, from here to about here, so it's fully covered. On the back side, they've got a little tail hanging out. No big deal. That's really short. And you can see the back side. Tension looks okay. I've seen other Reynolds bags where the tension was way off. Way off. And it looked ugly. This one looks good. It's actually pretty easy to open that one up, so I took my thread ripper and just crossed away and then took the singles out. But as it sits now, it's not going to come apart accidentally. Overall thoughts on the build quality of these bags? It's very good. Very, very, very good. Consistent 15.9 ounces. They could add that last 0.1 of an ounce and it wouldn't make a huge difference on the feel because it's literally probably 10 beads. They'll take it there. It was mostly that gray bead, slickier bead, and the other one's kind of flat. It's a nice fill, and it helps it kind of just not stick together. So it's good overall. I know once these get broken in, they're going to play well. I only bought these so I could play in like the local ACL stuff, and this is the ACL comp stamp. So you couldn't take it to the pro level. You can do it in the regional level. Okay, I'm not 100% sure on how high you can take these bags, but you cannot take them on TV, I know that. The Pro Edge Speed sublimation's good, nice even brown color. There's no, like, the colors on all these bags is exactly the same. And the fourth one, consistent orientation of the fabric. That's another thing I'm a stickler for. Like, it's not cantilevered sideways a little bit. Whoop! I take that back. This one's going this way. The rest are going this way. Okay, we got an oddball. Can you see that, folks? We're getting close. See the twill going in different directions. Oh, I was just about to give it, all 10s until that. Attention to detail, attention to detail. Other than that, I think these all face the same way. Yes, they do. So, it's just this one side that was the oblong. I want my money back! I'm just kidding. These are great bags. Well worth the, $50 or $60 plus shipping. That's my stickler. Don't add shipping. Just include shipping in the cost. $60 shipped. You can ship these for like $8 anywhere in the United States. You don't need to charge $15 to put it in a stupid little plastic bag that, It puts these at the will of the postal system. Put them in a box, $8 to $10 a ship, included in the cost. It's that simple. We do that here at B3, by the way. All right. Anyway, rant over. Great bag. Among the best. There's a reason why the pros use these again and again and again, because they are that good. You should too. Thumbs up.